people who didn't respond yet.
Okay.
Okay. And you want to leave the people who've opted out. You want to leave them alone.
Okay.
And that's fine. It's their prerogative.
Right.
But you reach out to either all the people who've opted in, or all the people who opted in, and the folks who haven't opted in yet.
Okay, that makes sense.
And now you'd be a little more specific about what are you looking for. And what we do is we say, start by thanking them for participating. Look, I really appreciate it.
All right.
Make it heartfelt. Again, we have email templates written that help get you started, but you're supposed to own it. You want to make it your own.
Okay, that makes sense.
Make it your own email, but nobody likes to stare at a blank screen when you're writing an email, right? So it's.
I think that's where these people are getting stuck for 3 days on a cover letter, or.
Exactly, right, right.
It's like, so where do you start?
Yeah, so we try to get you started, and then you make the email your own, but it's much easier to go that route, I think. And then now you're emailing, you're basically writing a note to your network and saying, here are some of the companies I'm looking at. Here's my background that I'm.
So now it gets more targeted.
Exactly,
okay.
right. You're being a little more specific about what you're looking for and maybe where you're looking for it, as in what companies.
Okay.
When you email that out, now you start getting more specific leads back, because you may, now they know something to go after.
All right.
The one analogy that I use, if you ask somebody, do you know of any cars for sale? That's a difficult question to ask. Mm-hmm. But if you say, do you know of any red Corvettes for sale?
Oh.
Well, that's a different question.
Yes,
You're very specific. And now, strangely enough, when they're driving around the town, for work or whatever, they're going to see.
You'll notice them.
All the red cars, right?
Yeah.
And you'll say, is it a Corvette? Why? Because you've attuned them to what your needs are, and they can keep an eye out for you. In the same way, when you're specific about what companies you're looking at, or what type of positions that you are looking to get into, now they're going to be hearing it everywhere.
Wow.
Okay. When they talk to their neighbor, while they're mowing their lawn, and if he says, "Man, we wish we could find somebody at work who does this," he's going to be listening like, "Oh, really? Because I know somebody who's looking, and maybe he could be the right person for you." And that your contact can refer them in, right? So this is the power of it, and these conversations happen all the time.
Yeah.
And they happen randomly. Everybody's conversing with each other.
Yeah.
But now they're attuned to what you're looking for, and because you were specific in your communication with your network, now they know how to help you.
Yeah, and that just totally makes sense. The thing I was envisioning while you were talking is perhaps being, you're on your laptop working at, Starbucks or Panera or whatever, and you might overhear somebody say, red Corvette or software engineer, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd be like, hey, did you say you were looking for this? Or you have a job opening like that?
I've done that before. I've done it where I've overheard, like, I'm sorry, I'm listening to you. I don't mean to be, but by the way.
Right?
You just never know where it leads.
Because you've empowered people with those specific things. I can totally see how that makes sense. So basically then the format so far has been that first email just to your close network and kind of refining your message and getting some feedback.
And it's an asking for help.
And asking for help.
Yeah.
So the second one, again, is asking for help, but you've kind of spread it out then a little bit, and you're reaching out to your wider network.
Yes.
And then the follow-up emails from that are going to be very targeted.
Yes.
Very specific, addressing exactly. So those are probably really short, very concise.
The first follow-up email that you send is probably going to be saying, exactly what you're looking for. But follow-up ones are going to be coming essentially when you are looking for a specific. So maybe you find a job. Employment position coming in.
Okay.
And it's at a certain company that you're interested in, and that position is one that you're interested in. Now you can reach out to your network and saying, look, does anybody happen to know somebody at this company? Okay. Or if you have a few of them banked up already, you could say, hey, these are 3 companies that are hiring. Does anybody know somebody at this company that can get me in? And again, this is that hidden job network. This is the employee for that company referring you in. Okay, versus having to go in through the website. Okay, where it's very cold and it's very difficult to try to get your resume ahead of everybody else. Here now you can get your resume on the hiring manager's desk. Okay, versus getting it in to a website. It's completely different, and that's exactly what you want. Okay, and so and that's only part of it, because there may be other opportunities from your network for companies that are hiring but not actively. They're not putting the job out there.
So it's ones that wouldn't even probably be out there where you would have found them.
You wouldn't have found them. Right, exactly.
Okay.
So this hidden job market not only consists of opportunities that you can see per se, but there are opportunities that you can't see because they're not posting them on a job board. So this is very effective.
Yeah.
And our approach of emailing your network in this way hits both of them.
Right.
All
I
right.
can see that. I can see where, and I liked how you said, here's 3 companies, does anybody know any? I could see very easily how I could work with that. That I
yeah.
could take that email, open up LinkedIn and just kind of really look, or even send a message out to folks I know. Hey, I
Yeah.
know somebody looking for a job at, here,
Exactly.
do you know anybody? That really, I felt really empowered to go do something with it,
That's
as
exactly
opposed
right.
to, Matt's looking for a job. That really
Yeah,
doesn't really, So
Yeah.
I can see how that would be helpful. I could really see how that would work.
So yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do. And so your future emails are going to be tighter,
Okay.
more concentrated with the specific opportunity, and you want to make sure you don't exhaust your network. You don't overuse it. You don't want to be sending an email every day to your entire network because they're going to start getting a little
Right.
tired of
All
it.
the email everybody carries, right?
Yeah, but it's probably okay to email about once a week.
Okay.
Okay, and whatever you feel comfortable with the people that you know, so you kind of have a feel for it, but
Right.
you don't want to tire them out, but at the same time, give them opportunities to help you.
Okay.
Because remember, they really do want to help, and it's very important to remember that and to get yourself over that hump
Yeah.
of making the first step.
I think that would be really good when you sit down and go to write that first email, maybe just reminding yourself, my friends want to help me.
Yeah.
I would want to help my friends,
Exactly.
and my friends want to help me.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And just kind of know that they're not receiving that going, oh no, that
Yeah,
they're actually
yeah.
probably, I have actually been angry with friends of mine before when they've had situations where they needed help and I didn't know anything about it and they hadn't reached out for
Yeah.
help,
I've had that problem too.
Right.
They're like, why didn't you talk to me?
Why
I
didn't you
coulda-"
ask?
Yeah.
So I just love that.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a great mindset. So then, you get a lead back, I guess that kind of just puts you in motion. So somebody does send back and say, hey, check out ABC company. I've heard that they're actually expanding. Then, I guess that's really where you can start really
That's a lead
take
too,
some
yeah.
action.
I mean, it's hard to say all the kinds of leads you'll get back from
Right.
your network, but chances are it's having leads from your network is better than not having anything.
Oh, right.
Right. And so if you're just sticking to job boards and not engaging your network, then you're missing out on leads being sent back to you.
Okay.
All right, and so that's why networking is so important, because it uncovers leads that you wouldn't have found, or it gets you in faster. It gets you into a company through a route that is other than the website,
Right,
other
something
than
unique.
the standard way
Yeah,
of getting
I like
in.
that.
Right, and again, I'll say it again. Your goal, especially using networking and especially using an approach like this, is to get to the hiring manager or get to the person who's responsible for hiring before they ever go out to a job board. All right, most people will tell you that you want to get your resume to the top of the stack, and that's true if there's a stack of resumes to begin with.
All right.
All right, if they posted the job on a job board, then definitely you want to get your resume on the top of the stack. But ultimately, your goal should be to get there before there's ever a stack of resumes.
Absolutely.
All right, you want to get there before because remember, they're going out to their network first. Every recruiter, every hiring manager is going out to their network, trying to find somebody they can refer in to their job. So if you're one of those people, they never post a job on a job board.
Right.
And you want to be one of those people.
You want to be one of those people. I love that. I just think that that's a great mindset. So there's a couple of tips, like reminding yourself that people want to help,
Yep.
and then also that the most advantageous thing to do would be to get to that hiring manager, and you're actually saving them time. I mean,
Oh, you
you're
are.
saving them time. They don't want a stack of resumes sitting there to have to sift through.
I was just talking to a person the other day from a startup, and he was telling me, he said, Matt, we want to hire somebody, and we're exhausting our network, but I don't want to post on a job board because I know we're going to get flooded with resumes.
flood, yeah.
And I understand where he's at, and there are many, many people just like him who are backing off from the hiring process and just dealing with the fact that they're not going to have somebody because the alternative, they can't deal with it. The alternative of having to get flooded with resumes and go through the entire interviewing process.
Oh, it's so time consuming.
It's very time consuming, and so they just avoid it altogether. So there are so many jobs that you just never see that are not published anywhere, and that's where your network is going to get you into. And that's the one thing if I can leave you with, is just to remember that the jobs you see on job boards is not everything out there. There is so many more that you just cannot see because they're not published.
Wow. So keep that in mind.
Exactly.
As you sit down and just remind yourself of those tips, and just start with that inner circle, then reach out farther and
yes.
Ask people, would you like to support me and help me, as opposed to, can you find me a job?
Exactly.
And then, get those leads back and start working your way to the hiring manager.
Exactly.
So,
exactly right.
great.
Yeah, I think it's a much more successful approach from what we've seen.
Okay. Well, we hope this has been helpful to you. And again, we just want to respond when we are getting, feedback from folks that there's areas where a lot of people are having the same challenges, and we want to help. We want to be of help, just like your inner circle wants to do. We want to help.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Have a good day. Take care.
Bye.